indispensable need of a music therapist has always been repertoire. This was particularly imperative in a hospital setting like University Hospital's Cleveland Medical Center, from which I recently retired. We had people from all over the world, some of whom did not speak English. So making a musical connection sometimes was particularly challenging. They were from different belief systems, ethnicities, cultures, and I started a music therapy outreach at Ronald McDonald House because many of those patients were there for their lodging but had treatment with us. So I wanted to go to them on the setting where they lived. I'd call earlier in the daytime, talk with the director, and find out how many children, what ages, were there any behavioral problems, developmental disabilities, or were they English speaking? After that, I would then plan for the session, and the interns and I would go there at 6 o'clock in the evening on the night that they had dinner for everybody. So we got to eat and do our music therapy session. And we held it right in the middle of the kitchen. After dinner, we would move all the chairs and form a circle. Parents and their children and the siblings would be involved. One day, I was told we have 14 teenagers. That is not my favorite crew. And so I said, okay. And the interns and I, and that's a real advantage for me because they were young and virile and beautiful. And I said, okay, let's do this. So we had a drum circle session. We took and placed all of those drums in my car. And then I said, so we have to have a song, guys, to kind of get things started. So I did in a very Motown, gospel, get down fashion. We're gonna, oh, you have to repeat after me. We're gonna rock this house. 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 We're gonna rock this Ronald McDonald house tonight. We're gonna rock this Ronald McDonald house tonight. Well, I said, we're ready. Let's do it. We went, opened the Ronald McDonald house door, and the lady said, oh, all the people are waiting right in there. We walk in, and there's a table full of Amish ladies, gentlemen, no teenagers at all. They'd all flown the coop, gone somewhere, and all I saw was beards, bonnets, and bibs. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. And the interns kind of froze, and they looked at me and said, rock this Ronald McDonald? I don't think so. So, talk about change of plan. Immediately, I said, okay. So I walked up to the table, and I said, hello, we're here from University Hospital's music therapy. These are our two lovely interns. Do you know the song by any chance? All day, all night, angels watching over me? I said, great. I thought you might, but could I teach it to you in sign language? And then out of my mouth, before I could stop and think, I said, and if you don't participate, I have a consequence. I get to kiss you. What made me say that without thinking? Because this was not a group of children, and but it came out, and I saw this. So I began, this is what I did. Would you please be that table of people? So the sign for all is like you're gathering up something and putting it behind your hand. So all, and then day, the sun's going up, good. All night, the sun's going down, all right? Now, angels, I just made it up. So I put my hands here and went, angels watching over me, my, and then L hand, Lord. That's all. So I'm going to test you. I think you all are pretty good at this. What's all? Yes, great. What's night? Wonderful. What's day? Angels. Me, my, Lord. Watching. Yes, all right. Let's do it. So I began to sing and I said, please sing with me. Ready? All day, all night, angels watching over me, my Lord. Now, stop. Do you know the men were sitting just like this? And I'm saying, oh my goodness, you've got to follow through. And the interns were looking like, what are you going to do? So all I did was, and I kept singing, oh, and I just started walking toward him. The man got his hands. That's all I had to do. So sometimes just the mere edging toward will make a difference. The moral is learn to turn on a dime and be prepared for anything. And unlike me, watch what you're going to say before it spills out of your mouth. The last example, Mr. Jones, who looked like me, who was 45 years of age, was a musician. And he was brought in having overdosed. He had been at a nightclub where he was performing. And unfortunately, by the time they got him to the hospital, he was paralyzed from the neck down. He was rather angry and abusive. And I asked the nurse, how can a man, well, she said, let me explain. He cannot move anything except his eyes and his eyebrows, his forehead. But he lets me know because he can mouth words, and Deforia, all of them are 4-letter words. And I can read that without anything else. He can spit. And when we have to feed him, that's what happens. But he's a musician, so we all thought that maybe we should go in and see him and see what music therapy can do. Can I tell you that my legs were doing this? And I said, okay. And one of the nurses was particularly aware that I was not going to get anywhere with him. She just said, try it. I walked in, and without looking at him, I took my cart and just said, you know, Mr. Jones, I'll tell you what, I have something, I learned 2 songs. I've heard you're a musician. I never get a chance to work with musicians. Would you please let me get some feedback from you? One of the songs I learned was Lean on Me, another was Stand By Me. Would you please let me do one of those and give me some feedback? And then I looked at it and his comment. I said, okay, thank you. Do you want Lean on Me? Okay, Stand By Me. I said, what do you want? And that was exactly my, what? You want the Lord's Prayer? I said, okay. And I began to sing. And he mouthed every word with this sense of pathos and sensitivity. I said from that point on, never underestimate what a person wants or needs because of the profile that you've been told and taught. It can make a difference being in the moment and watching what can happen with a song.
I don't know about you guys, but when I started this journey into a music therapy career in 1969, as a freshman student at Texas Women's University, I thought that music could cure all ills and just bring world peace, and everything would just be okay if we would all just sing. And in fact, by 1973, when I was a senior music therapy major, if you can believe this, I was already in the process of being published in the Journal of Music Therapy. I was the first winner of the Ethayer Gaston Writing Award, and all I wrote about was this idealistic viewpoint of what music therapy was. And no one at the time really did know exactly what music therapy was. We were still kind of working as a profession, as an association, we were still working on that. And I ended the essay with a quote from Mac Davis's song, "I Believe in Music." We can just, everybody will get along, we can write a song where we'll stop all the fussing and fighting, and everybody will get along. So then I was about 3 weeks into clinical work, and I was working in a residential, one of the many places I was working was in a residential treatment center for teens with significant behavior issues and significant mental health issues. And I said to this young man who is twice as big as I am, do you want to play this guitar or this guitar in our rock band today? And he looked at both, and he took this one gently out of my hand and promptly broke it right in half, threw it down on the ground, and walked out of the room. What do you think? I don't think he wanted to do music therapy that day. What do you think? And then several weeks later, or maybe even a year later, many things like that happened to me, on many different levels. One time I was sitting with a group of 3 elementary youngsters with dealing with lots and lots of issues. One of them was visually impaired. It was just sitting quietly, but any time that I would walk in the room, if I started singing, do you know what she would do? She would scream at the top of her lungs. And I'm not kidding, that is what she did. I don't think she wanted to do music therapy. What do you think? And music was not going to calm her down. And so I had to learn over time that it was much more than the music. It was music therapy that made a difference in people's lives. That music therapy indeed could help people connect, and could help me connect with my music therapy friends. And it could help people, it could give them an encouraging and kind of a fun way or a calming way to be able to express their frustrations or deal with their frustrations or even recognize their frustrations and the things that really tore into their lives, and maybe communicate those and maybe even come up with options for dealing with those kinds of things. And they could learn new motor skills, and it gave them an encouraging way to learn new motor skills or new language skills or new social skills, and be able to want to participate and cooperate with other people and make music with other people, and want to follow directions and have time to process the information. And all the things that we know as music therapists work well, but it was the music and the therapy. It was both. It wasn't just the music itself. Was it going to bring world peace and joy? And speaking of joy, to really change a look, in about 1983, which was 10 years later, I suddenly lost all of my hearing in this ear, had extreme vertigo, enough to make me bedbound for probably the rest of my life, and tinnitus, or loud roaring, ringing, pinging, zooming, hipping, all going on around my head. So that was the end of my music therapy career. I would not be here right now. I wouldn't be able to stand up, among other things. But we found a doctor, a neurologist in San Antonio, Texas, where my mom lived, developing. It was one of 2 people in the world who was trying a new type of surgery where they were able to clip just the balance nerve. Now, if they clipped my whole 8th cranial nerve to stop the vertigo, then it would drop my facial. It is my facial nerve. So then I wouldn't be able to sing, I wouldn't be able to talk, but at least I wouldn't have vertigo. So again, that would have been the end of my music therapy career, but that's not what happened. The doors opened, and this neurologist tried that on me, and it worked. And so I don't have any balance, but at least I don't have constant vertigo, which is really nice. That's why this is here, so I can hold on to it and not be falling over on the stage. It's just interesting that big waves are going to come and crash into you, whether it be a totally different group of people that you were expecting, even though you've done quite a bit of planning, and then within the last 30 seconds you discover that it's a totally different group that doesn't need what you have at all, and you aren't prepared for something for them, or whether it's a huge life-changing thing, such as being suddenly diagnosed with vertigo or with Meniere's disease, or cancer, or any number of issues. There are so many things that can step into our lives and keep us from being music therapists, being effective music therapists. But I just really encourage you to just, when those things happen, do the same thing that all of our music therapy friends do. It really gave me an insight to my music therapy friends. I have about 200 a week, and some of them I've known for 40 years, and that they are not going to be able to get any better. In fact, some of them are deteriorating because of the nature of their illness or their diagnosis. And but that what we can do is use the music to bring the music and the therapy to bring us comfort and peace and joy, and be able to take one more step forward. And that is so, so important. Now it's time for Deforia and I to be finished with our talk, so we're going to have to do, of course, all good music therapists do a goodbye song, don't they? And so I have, we call this my farewell song. One of my, someone in the group will go into the music therapy rolling bag. That's a picture of me waving goodbye to people. And so for my nonverbal people or folks not able to read. And so I'm just going to sing a little part, and then you just say what you see on the picture, okay? See you later. After a while. Bye-bye. Be sweet, pet your teeth. Take good care, pull her. Better shake, rattles. Gotta go, wow, 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 wow. Buffalo. Da-da-da-da-da. Now let's get your rhythm going. Any rhythm you want. You notice at this point I'm not pointing out, I'm not passing out drums or anything to them, because I want them to be calming down. I'm getting ready to go out the door. So we've already packed up everything, so they're making their own rhythm however they're able to make it. Okay, as long as it's on themselves. They can't be making rhythms on other people. Here we go. You remember it? See you later, alligator, after a while.